with the neighbors. He was going to negotiate with the trustees and over a contractual matter. And I agree, Pulte then did stay through the whole meeting. In addition to Mark Camo, there was Reed Blute from Pulte Homes that attended. And they did stay through the whole meeting and took notes, took some serious notes. I do think in the beginning when they read this statement, the neighbors were upset because they thought that they were there to kind of have Pulte and the neighborhood have a dialogue of their concerns on just what the 100-foot buffer was. And you explained that the role of the Governor Stoughton trustees is different than the role of the Board of Selectmen, that the trustees are there to manage the trust properly and to maximize the benefits to the beneficiaries, which are the poor of the town of Milton. You did explain why the project, because there was serious concern about why the project has taken over 4 years. And Mr. Chairman, you did explain that we were 2 years in at the AG's office while they looked and reviewed the complaint and then finally assented to the complaint. We also then had the issue with the Native American issue, and so there were some reasons why these due diligence periods have been extended. You also spoke about you were a member of the board at the time of these Pulte negotiations, and you felt that it wasn't the trustees' intent that having a 100-foot buffer, which would make these homes not saleable, was what you felt was not what the trustees were negotiating. There were 10 people that did speak. Robert Sweeney was kind of the chairperson for the group, and he was quite agitated when he first sat down, but I think as you entertained dialogue back and forth with him, I think he got a little bit calmer, and he felt that he read a statement that he agreed with Mr. Webb Collins' assessment of what a 100-foot buffer was, and that was a buffer zone is to keep two neighborhoods separate. He was also upset that Pulte just read a statement and wasn't there to entertain a dialogue with them. He said that he was a former member of the Board of Selectmen and chair of the Governor Stoughton Committee, and he was one of the most knowledgeable persons on this issue, and that he said that it wasn't mentioned once, it wasn't mentioned twice, but it was mentioned 3 times that there would be a 100-foot buffer. And he said that neighbors came to try to compromise with Pulte and have their viewpoint heard and understood. And I won't go on with the rest of his. Then there was an Ed McNeil from 75 Countryside Lane. He was upset because the first he heard about the project was when there was noise in his backyard. And so he registered a complaint that the neighbors deserved notification before the project was underway, that there would be disturbance, noise disturbance, when the test borings were done and those big tractors, I don't know the name, the tractor that came in to do the test boring, and when trees were cut down. He was concerned that he felt that people felt that if the neighborhood made too much of an issue over this 100-foot buffer, that he was told that be careful what you wish for because you may end up with a 40B, and he felt that that was very threatening to the neighbors to have that statement be made.
And we did respond to that.
You did respond to that. You explained. He also wanted to know, why Copeland was the better bid and why the trustees didn't go with Copeland. You explained that reasoning why, and if Pulte doesn't work out, that we still cannot go with Copeland. We have to go back out to RFP, go back to the Attorney General's office, file another complaint, and so on and so forth, and that we could end up with a cluster development with no.
Or you could wind up with a conventional subdivision.
With subdivision with no.
You'd lose all your open space.
Yep, all your open space, and there would be no. What's the buffer?
There'd be no
what's the term? There'd be no. What's
setback?
The term? Setback. Thank you.
Well, you'd have your normal 30-foot rear lot line setback.
Yeah, but no 100-foot.
Right.
Then there was a Martin D'Amato from 84 Countryside. He feels that the trustees are the selectmen, and he felt that what you were saying about there being 2 different roles, the trustees and the selectmen, was just an excuse, and the project had been tied up for 4 years, and the town hasn't been paid anything, and how does the town know this is the best use? And then Kathy Terrell of 169 Whittier Road addressed the board and was very complimentary, said that you, Tom, were the only person that she had spoken with about this project. She supported the Copeland project, but respected that the Selectmen's decision was to go with Pulte. And she stated that she was one of the most individuals impacted by the project, and she was slow to be critical of it, but she felt that the agreements were made and the contracts should be sacrosanct. And she said that Milton is the 7th most stable place to own property, and she cautioned you, the trustees, to don't sacrifice for commercial gain. She also wanted to thank us, the town, for the excellent job we did during the snow this winter. So that was an aside. There was a Marianne Alberino from 41 Quisset Brook. She stated that she was not a direct abutter, but she did want the town to do its best to respect the wetlands and the wetland buffer. John Hajar from 89 Countryside Lane. He feels the town council had made a mistake on not defining what the 100-foot buffer meant, and he never heard of any real estate project going on for as long as this project without the town getting some benefit. Governor Stoughton's will was clear, and we could have gone with the $2 million and had a rebuilt animal shelter and houses that are on the property that are in terrible disrepair repaired. And he feels Pulte was a bad decision, and the trustees should pull back. Then John Friedman from 157 Whittier Road. Mr. Friedman stated that he was an attorney who has litigated real estate deals for over 30 years. His biggest concern is that Pulte is trying to come in to a tight community and not giving them the respect, the neighbors the respect that they deserve by trying to work with them and come up with a compromise plan and find out what the neighbors could live with. He feels that when the parties dig in, the process can be long and drawn out and end up in litigation for years. And he feels that, strongly suggests that Pulte work with the neighborhood. Then there was Michael Kelly from 32 Whittier Road. Mr. Kelly suggested that the wetland, there could be a possibility where some wetland replication could happen and would be able to then shift some of the homes, and then the 100-foot buffer could be retained. And then the town planner was asked to chime in to explain what wetland replication was, and town planner explained that very eloquently. Frank Mulligan from 120 Governor Stoughton Lane asked when the town was going to, what the town was going to do with the 4 remaining acres, and he asked if the access to the site was off Unquity Road. And then Raj Paycheck from 87 Countryside Lane, he asked Mr. Camo, is there anything you can tell us? Is there anything you can say? And Mr. Camo just had no comment.
He did say a little bit about a few things, but not
nothing of any great. Yeah, he said that. I think I have them in my handwritten notes, but I didn't write them in my typewritten notes. Then there was Kathleen Sullivan from 60 Saddle Ridge Road, and she asked that the trustees make sure that they think about the impact this project has on other projects around the town. And again, you tried to explain to her that this project is looked at through the trustees' role and not the Board of Selectmen role. And then the meeting ended at about 7:45 p.m.
Yeah. That's basically what happened, in a nutshell.
Thank you for that update.
As long as we're in Governor Stoughton, do you want to go into executive session, Governor Stoughton, and
Yes.
then okay. All right, so I will propose a motion to enter into executive session to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property, town farmland. Something missing here. That is such discussion.
Believing that having such
Believing that such discussion may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the body, and to return to open session for purposes of continuing the Board of Selectmen meeting. Adjourn the Governor Stoughton, continue the Board of Selectmen meeting for purposes of entering into executive session with the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Very good.
Okay. Ms. Conlon?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Okay. We are in executive session.